In September 2016, I started high school. My life felt like it had been completely upended. Around this time I lost two of my grandparents, someone in my year group had passed away, and I ended up at a different school to a few of my closest friends. There was this inescapable feeling that my life was being forced to change, that I wasn't being given a choice and I had to move on from being the kid that I'd been for my whole life up until this point. I couldn't be a child anymore. I had to act mature. I had to be a grown-up. I mean, everyone when they first start high school feels the need to prove to everyone that they're an adult in this kind of hypocritical, childish way. A month later, Nintendo announced their new console, the Nintendo Switch, and this thing became everything to me. I was obsessed with it and I had to have one. Nintendo for my whole life and for the kids that I was around at the time had kind of been considered the kind of kiddie baby game company, but the Switch, it felt like something new. The advert showed young adults playing it and taking it with them on the plane or to walk the dog. It seemed mature. I had a Wii and a DS as a kid and absolutely adored them, but the Wii U was such a flop that it never really crossed my path and the 3DS just never quite made its way to me. Nintendo was something I was really disconnected from when the Switch was announced, but from that Switch announcement, I became obsessed. When it came out in March 2017, I was lucky enough that my dad got one for the family, and knowing that I was anxiously anticipating it, he also got me a copy of the system's defining launch title, The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. For this kid who felt like he had to fight off immaturity, this game became everything to me. What this game did was give this lost little kid trying to be an adult a whole beautiful open world to discover. I could do anything, I could go wherever, and it brought me this childlike sense of wonder and awe and exploration that I needed. It taught me that this feeling doesn't have to go away. In fact, it's what life's about and you should make the most of it. Go off the beaten path, explore, do things you want to do. I didn't realize it at the time, but this game reminded me of reality and that this fake maturity everyone at high school forces doesn't mean anything. You should hold on to what makes you happy and fight for it and do everything you can to have fun. Breath of the Wild changed who I am as a person and came along at the perfect time in my life. And that brings us poetically to now. Last week my friends and I went in for the final day of college. Over the past few years, we have stepped truly into the adult world. We've all had to find jobs and navigate relationships, manage finances. We've gone through great times and really rough ones, but we're adults now. And that seems so scary. We have this feeling that we have to try and fight off our childhood and prove we can make it in the real world. Big imaginative dreams have to be shut down and forgotten and our sights set on more realistic retail or office jobs to pay the bills. We used to think that when we were adults the world would be ours to do what we want with it. And now the realization that maybe it isn't, maybe we're just another cog in the system, has started to really scarily set in. So that's why it blows my mind that the sequel to Breath of the Wild, The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom, has come out now, once again, at the perfect time, to take me by the hand and show me what I need to be shown, teach me what I need to be taught, make me feel how I need to feel, and make everything seem like it's just gonna be okay. Where Breath of the Wild brought me that childlike feeling of discovery, Tears of the Kingdom has brought me that childlike feeling of imagination, and that's something that right now means the world to me, and I really feel the need to cherish. So, without any further ado, this is my first impressions of The Legend of Zelda: The Tears of the Kingdom, a game that means so much to me. The basic Hyrule in this game is the same map as the previous one, with some natural differences after the events of Breath of the Wild and the roughly 5 or 6 in-world years that have passed since. I feel the need to go back to all the places I found in Breath of the Wild and see how they're doing. Hateno Village and Tarry Town especially were places I was so excited to check out again and see how they've changed because they feel like home. Towns have developed and changed and characters have grown up, and it really feels like returning to your hometown after being away for a while and wanting to go back to your favourite pizza place or a spot you used to like. It's a different kind of exploration, but a very valid one and a very nostalgic one. It's also now so much more densely packed with little side quests or collectibles and new little things to do and explore and mess around with. It actually almost makes Breath of the Wild feel kind of empty by comparison, but something which makes total sense given the, apocalypse that was happening in Breath of the Wild. But it's not just the same old Hyrule. You also have the addition of the Sky Islands, which, being honest, I think is maybe the most underwhelming part of the game. I definitely don't think they're bad. I actually love having them there. They're a practically perfect addition in the way they are, but the way the game was marketed made it seem, to me at least, that they'd be a lot more prominent. I thought they were all going to be roughly the same size and contain as much, if not more, than the first one, which serves as this game's equivalent to the Great Plateau, but that's very much not the case. They're their kind of own little standalone things. However, they're still very fun little areas to traverse, and they offer a very different type of exploration to the surface. I especially love the shrine puzzles you find up there involving the crystals, and so it's worth it for that alone. Additionally, something that wasn't touched upon pretty much at all in marketing as far as I'm aware, so minor spoilers here, is the depths. The entirety of Hyrule's surface is mirrored in this dark and gloomy underworld. Because of it entirely being in the dark and you having to use bright bloom seeds or the larger and more effective light routes to see where you're going, it offers again an entirely different type of exploration. You don't get to see something off in the distance and think, I want to go there. You more so pick a path, head in that direction, and find stuff along the way. In terms of dungeons, this game's feel halfway between the older Zelda style and Breath of the Wild's Divine Beasts. Now, I'm someone who actually quite liked the Divine Beasts, but a big complaint I had of them that visually they were very bland and all felt kind of repetitive, but the two I've done in Tears of the Kingdom so far have been really visually interesting and mechanically fairly different from each other and have become one of my favourite parts of the game, something I was never able to say about the Divine Beasts. The new abilities are also incredible. I thought I was going to miss Breath of the Wild's runes, but I actually don't. The rewind mechanic acts similarly to stasis, but with the extra boost of then rewinding the object, allowing for so many more possibilities, like reversing an explosive on an enemy that's thrown it and watching them just absolutely destroy themselves. Ascend has been so useful and maybe weirdly my favourite ability. I've been using it so much more than I thought I would, and opens whole new ways for you to traverse the kingdom. It's really great and a brilliant welcome addition. Having said that about Ascend though, Fuse and Ultra Hand are where this game becomes its own and really the trademark of it in my opinion. The Fuse ability allows you to attach an object to either your currently equipped weapon or shield. With weapons, this is good for upping strength and durability, adding range, or an extra ability like emitting flames, or just generally looking like either a badass or the biggest dork you've seen in your life. But you can also attach it to your shield, and one of my biggest tips for the game is adding a rocket to your shield and using it essentially as a way to launch yourself up in the air, kind of a replacement for Rivali's Gale from Breath of the Wild, which is something that is sorely missed. That and Daruk's protection, I have been missing in this, I'm not gonna lie. Ultra Hand in concept is pretty similar to the Fuse ability, except instead of for weapons, it's for just anything. The way that Magnesis could pick up metal in Breath of the Wild, anything that's not attached to the ground can be used with Ultra Hand in this game and attached to anything else that isn't connected directly to the ground. You can do simple things like connecting a log to another log and climbing it to gain height, but you can also create boats, cars, planes, launchers, and an infinite amount of different possibilities. It's crazy, and this is where you truly get that sense of imagination. The way you'd play in the garden or in the park as a kid, imagining that you were on this huge adventure and that the climbing frame you were on was this huge mountain or volcano, or this little chair was a spaceship launching you into the air. That's what this game makes reality. It gives you that experience in a way that feels real and tangible, and it's incredible for that, and reminds you so much of that beauty the world had when you were a kid, when anything you looked at could be anything else. I could talk about this game for hours, and I promise you I will at some point. I've purposely avoided really touching on the story in this because I don't want to give spoilers, and I also know only about half of it at the moment myself, but I'm absolutely loving watching it unfold, and for my money I think it's the best story in a Zelda game already. Everything from the opening cutscene to unfolding more and more of what's happened through the discovery of the geoglyphs and the way through which you're seeing the story unfurl is incredible. The idea of the way that Breath of the Wild told a story through two different points in time has been taken and transformed to a next level thing and a genuine work of art. This game is something amazing to me. It's taken me by the hand and shown me that even in what has become such a daunting world filled with things you feel like you can't understand, you should hold on to what makes you happy and fight for it, and do everything you can to have fun. Tears of the Kingdom reminded me of who I am as a person, and came along at the perfect time in my life. Please let us know in the comments if you've picked up Tears of the Kingdom, and if so, how you're feeling about it. This video was unapologetically pretty biased, but I also just flat out think it is an amazing game, and is undoubtedly already my game of the year so far. I highly doubt anything can top it, but we will see at the end of the year where I stand on that. But I hope you're all taking care of yourselves and each other. I've been Niall for the Seoul Dojo. Subscribe if you're new here, and I'll see you real soon. Take care.
Get your point across, get your point across. Get your point across, get your point across.